Welcome back to ANC Conversations, and we continue to talk about how the Philippine entertainment industry is coping during this great disruption in our lives. Let's now turn over and get the perspective of actors and performers who just a few weeks ago, before the lockdown, were performing on stage or recording their programs, and now they're locked down like the rest of us. Let's begin with Lea Salonga, international and award-winning performer. Hi, Lea, and welcome to this DIY production from my house to yours.
Yeah, hi, David. Good to be here.
You know, we call this a backyard production. Literally, it's pretty much from our own backyard, right? But I've seen your stuff online. I've seen your performances, your online concerts. You're pretty good at this. I mean, you're doing it from the house, right?
I'm doing everything from home. But I do dry runs of just about everything before I actually commit anything to recording, which means that I check lighting, I check sound quality. For example, for the Bayanihan Musikahan live concert that I did last April 2, I had a bunch of friends on the 1st of April be kind of my test audience, just so that they can check my sound quality, they can check my picture quality, they can check if the connection was strong. And so I checked all those boxes so that when I did the concert for real, all I had to think about was the performance and nothing else, which is kind of what you want when you're actually performing on stage. You don't want anything to get in the way of the creation of the art. That's why we have dress rehearsals. That's why we rehearse as much as we do. So I tried using that same thing even for the stuff that I do at home. So far, I mean, knock on wood, everything's been good.
This is an argument for artists to be kind of self-sufficient, to know every aspect of their craft rather than relying on producers, directors, PAs, glam team.
I mean, the thing that is great about the artists having to do everything on their own is that you understand what your producer's job is. You understand what the glam team goes through, what your stylists go through, your crew, your lighting people, your sound people. You all of a sudden have to take on those jobs on your own. Like, you have to shoulder everything. So if anything, I've gained a greater appreciation for the jobs that everybody else does. And I think once we all return to normal, I'm going to give each of these guys a hug, because it's like, your job is not easy, man. I actually understand what you're doing now.
It's hard to perform at a very professional level, just doing this online. It's great, but of course, it's different. No live audience, no connection to your co-performers. How difficult is it to perform in a vacuum, so to speak?
There's something to it, though, because you kind of achieve a level of intimacy that is not really achievable on stage, because you have to perform for a larger audience, and then you have to perform for the back of the house to make sure that you're heard. It feels intimate. It almost feels like it's your most personal, most private moment that you happen to be capturing with a camera. So it feels very private, and it feels really intimate, and it allows you to be vulnerable. It's only after the fact that you've done it that people are going to see it. But when it's happening in the moment and you've got the camera trained on you and there's nobody else, so it felt very private. And I allowed myself, I guess, to go emotionally to where I normally might not feel I have the luxury of going. So there are pluses to doing these kinds of self-recordings. But the feedback of, say, an audience applauding, or you feeling like you can kind of manipulate, I mean, it's a weird word to use, but you can manipulate the emotions of a room full of people. There's a high to that also.
Welcome to the world of our teenage daughters, right? Of home production. Right. Doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're just a bit more profound about it, but basically we're just doing what teenagers are doing and discovering so many new things. But among the things you miss, the live audience, just the whole idea of performing, right? I mean, this lockdown, it kind of keeps you insane in a way, because you even me to a certain extent, I'm so used to like just being out there. I'm not a
Yeah.
performer. I'm a journalist. I mean, just being at home and having to work from home, how does it mess with you?
Being at home, it's helping me to recharge. It's actually helping me to it's helping me, I guess, to get some mental rest and energy. I mean, I love being at home. I like the company of my family. And when I'm not performing, when I'm not working, I tend to hole up at home. I tend to hunker down. That's what kind of recharges my batteries, I guess. You know, there are other performers that feel this way. It seems as though somebody like me would be like the most extroverted person because you kind of feed off of the energy of other people. But if you notice, when I'm on stage, I am at least however many feet in front of the very first row. So I'm still in a bubble of, you know, I'm in a bubble. It feels safe. So it feels safe to be on stage because y'all are far away from me.
In other words, Lea
And
Salonga has been social distancing since forever.
even when I'm working, I'm actually social distancing.
On a practical level, social distancing, at least for the entertainment industry, means no work.
A lot of people's primary sources of income, it's the gigs, it's the puesto, it's you know, doing shows night after night. And there isn't always a lot of income from those sources. I mean, you're lucky if your spouse is someone who has a regular job and they're able to work from home, and you know, and they're still bringing home the bacon even in this under these circumstances. So it's tough. It's tough, regardless of your station in life. It's difficult, and it's great that there are initiatives like the Artist Welfare Project that are, you know, they're raising funds and they're taking care of, you know, people that, you know, do go from paycheck to paycheck. So there are initiatives within the entertainment industry to take care of those people. But I guess there's only so much charity that people will be able to withstand. There's going to be donor fatigue. It's going to happen where it's like, I've given so much at the office already. It's like, what now?
The hard part about this is this is going to go on. I mean, from what we're
Yeah.
hearing, the entertainment industry will not reopen for quite some time,
Yeah,
especially live
maybe,
production.
yeah. The thing is, because theater in and of itself, I mean, let's just focus on theater. It's a collaborative medium, which means that folks will need to be in close quarters. And until we are able to be in close quarters again with our fellow actors, stage managers, directors, choreographers, and whoever else works on the show, unless we can have that again, I don't think we'll be able to do theater in the way it's supposed to be done. So I don't foresee theater productions coming back until around next year, when I think this virus is at a much more manageable level. I mean, I think we can start production again, which is kind of a relief, because as you said, you can control the environment.
Not possible theater, TV,
I don't think
possible
so.
concerts.
I don't know if they can seat everybody in the theater like 6 feet from each other, then maybe, but that's kind of sad though. But yeah, that's kind of sad. So I mean, you have one person in one seat, and then maybe 2 seats over another person. So every 2 seats, there's a human, and then you have to go like maybe 2 rows, and then start that again until you're able to fill the theater. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a while. I don't know how we're going to do this. I honestly don't.
I want to get your thought on another issue altogether. It's been quite controversial lately. The whole thing about the age limit of those who can come back to work. And I respect the science, I respect the health professionals, but just your thought on the whole thing about, you know, the entertainment industry. You can't really delineate by age. There is no retirement age in entertainment.
There is no retirement age. I mean, look at the late Eddie Garcia, who was working up until the day he died, quite literally, and he was way past what the mandatory retirement age might be in a normal industry. I get where I'm trying to see where everybody is coming from,
They're just trying
And
to
I'm
suggest.
yeah, and I'm sure that there can be compromises for this. I mean, my TV show, our contestants are from the ages of 13 to
Correct.
17. So we
There
are
goes.
directly affected by the age limits also.
Unless
I
they
mean,
perform from their home, which is unrealistic. Yeah.
yeah, which is unrealistic. And it's like, it's not going to be an even playing field because of, like, for example, say that there is going to be a contestant, an artist who is, say, from a far-flung region of, say, Sultan Kudarat somewhere, where internet access may or may not be the best, versus somebody, say, in Cebu, where you can assume that their internet access is a little better, where their video is going to come out clearer. So it's kind of places people in an it's going to be unfair. So we're trying to even the playing field as much as possible. So there has to be it's got to be a realistic thing. I understand trying to, I mean, we want to keep our more vulnerable members of the population safe. But that's also a really subjective thing because there are going to be people in the healthy age limit, so supposedly, who are not going to be as healthy as the 80-year-old. So, I mean, so it's not taking all of that into, it's not fair. It's
like science versus economics. I mean, that's a big dilemma.
And there are 60, 70-year-olds who are still vital members of the workforce. So what do we do then? This is one of those difficult things. I get it. But I'm hoping that maybe in a couple of months they'll be able to relax some of that.
Well, let's hope. Looking forward, how do you think freelancers can, protect themselves from future disruptions? We're experiencing one right now. Who knows what's next?
I don't know, quite honestly. I'm one of those people that has, I don't know. I mean, I got lucky, and I got lucky with a very smart mom that was like saving everything, but I also know that isn't possible for everybody. If you're a freelancer with children and you have to figure out tuition fees, you have to figure out, rent and food and clothing, and it's difficult. It's a very, very, it's a difficult atmosphere, and it doesn't matter what country you're in. If you're a freelancer, you're going through this also. I don't know. Unions, as you said, will probably help, so that there is at least some buttress against, at least for the short term.
Let me just end on a personal note. How do you think you'll emerge from this differently, for better or worse?
I mean, it's going to change certainly when the first time that I'll be able to hug somebody that isn't somebody from my house, it's going to feel very cathartic, and there's going to be emotional release. I mean, I'm lucky that I get to hug the people here at home, but there are people in complete isolation that have absolutely no one. And introvert or extrovert, that's gonna mess with you on the inside. So I think that the minute we are able to then interact on a much more close contact level with someone, there's gonna be massive emotional release, for darn sure.
We definitely look forward to the day. Lea Salonga, thank you so much for this conversation. Stay safe.
You too, David. Thank you.